Hey guys, and welcome to Meta, a new show about Starcraft. It's going to go over the news a little bit, the drama a little bit, but we're going to focus a little bit more heavily on having like a lot of pro gamers in and talking about the actual game. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let me introduce this awesome set of guys that I have on this week. Of course, everyone knows him, Cats. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great.
Yeah? It's been a hard week for you. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Moonglade, how goes it?
It goes very well, thank you. All is good in the world of StarCraft.
Excellent. And, of course, Theognis. Haven't heard much of you lately. How's it going for you?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah? Pretty bland intros for yourselves there, guys. All right, let's jump right into it. First thing I want to do, before we get into too much, like, balance talk and stuff like that, is let's talk about Dreamhack. Dreamhack is coming up this weekend, and I want to give it a little bit of a preview, because it's kind of crazy. Here, I'll link you guys to the brackets right in here. Well, they have the first group set up, of course. 1 second. Throw that right in there. And, well, let's take a look. Yeah, of course, they do have that first group. Wait a minute, I'm in the wrong page. Hold on a second. Oh, okay, there we go. So they've seeded like a lot of guys into the second group phase. And I mean, it's a pretty sick lineup of players. There's not like a lot to go over with that the first group phase, because there's like so many like new unknown players. But I want to get your guys' opinions on like exactly who are you looking at to do well in this tournament, what dark horses, and who can actually beat the Koreans that are here.
Oh my goodness, there's so many good players, man. So many good players.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a tournament this stacked since IPL 5, I want to say.
Yeah.
Was IPL 5? Yeah.
I don't think there's been many tournaments since IPL 5, to be fair, but yeah. I think you're right.
No,
But yeah,
like I mean, IPL 5 was
really
I
stacked.
think the highest skill level we've seen outside of Codes, and I think this comes close if not a notch above. It's definitely a deeper pool of players, and there's a lot of people that can create upsets, so that's really exciting. And holy shit, like you said, like the group stage number one, what we're showing on screen right now, it has so many good players, and that's like the people that didn't get seeds. So
I was actually looking at the player list earlier today, and I was trying to pick someone that I thought could win, and I was like, yeah, MC could win, and then like I kept on looking down, and there's like Naniwa, and then there's like 10 Koreans that like have the possibility of winning.
Yeah.
So it's really, really stacked. So I'm really interested to see who can come out.
I mean, they have a lot of seeds here, right? Like there are a lot of seeds because it goes up to Group P. How many letters is that actually? It's like, is that 16 groups? Am I wrong?
Man. That's
Can
16,
someone count
man.
the alphabet for me real quick? Like,
Yeah, that's 16, man.
first
4 rows of
stage.
4.
Yeah.
so that's 32 seeds. And within the 32 seeds, we don't have, like, let's say, Baby Knight. We don't have Cass in there. It's Zikdomini, the champion of Great Britain. Like, Strelok, who just got into WCS Premier Europe. Like, this is...
Night End, Bling,
It's
White.
I know, the names go on and on. I mean, we have all these insanely good players that are not even in that stage.
Fuser. Yeah, it's insane. From these groups, how about we pick like 3 people from these groups to make it far into the tournament?
Okay,
And move
go
on
for
to
it.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Wellmu. Kid's fucking insane. So I think he can make it far into the tournament.
He came. Did you see the? Did you guys see the list of like who did well in European qualifiers? And Wellmu did like so. He got so deep in all 4 of them. It was actually really
he's so
sad.
good. He's so very good. Like Succeed, my teammate did like he fucking watches Wellmu stream all the time. I think Ghost User and Fuser could make it far as well. Baby Knight, I don't know. I don't know why I said pick 3.
Oh no, you did it, man! I want to hear your 3.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Wellmu, Monchi, and Ghost User.
Wow. Okay.
That's not bad choices. Moonglade.
I agree with the Wellmu. I know Wellmu's done very well in the past in multiple tournaments. I give him faith. I would pick Wellmu, I'd pick Cass, and I'd pick Strelok because they're Terrans and they're really good. And they've proven themselves many times.
That's a pretty. I gotta go with your picks over Cats. What do you think, the odds?
Yeah, I would. We're going with the group stage one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with Cass. Probably Daishi. Like he's been doing really well. He all killed like a team or something recently in the Acer Team Cup, which was like really nice. And he's like number 3 on the ladder at the moment. And then probably, I don't know. I'm probably just gonna pick a random one. I guess Bishu.
Bishu.
Yeah, he's been playing pretty well. So.
Oh god, this is actually so hard because Daishi has been doing so well. I actually see like 6 names I want to name in the first group stage that I think can get pretty deep. I'm going to go ahead and be different, though. I'm going to say White Raw is going to do really well this tournament.
Wow.
I'm feeling it, man. I'm looking at that group. I'm like, he's definitely come out of Group N. No question about that in my mind. I have to go with Wellmu. He's done too well recently. And I was going to go with Cass because that guy's such a beast and all he does is practice. And you know what? That I don't know any of those other people in this group, so I guess I am going to go with Cass. I was going to give it to Daishi, but I'll go with Cass this time. That is pretty crazy.
No one picked Baby Knight, so yeah.
Oh my God, Baby Knight! Oh God,
that's probably like everyone's 4th pick here or something.
Yeah,
I'm surprised.
Yeah. I'd pick him like 4th or 5th, I think.
Yeah.
But history.
Honorable mentions, Krass, Bling. I think could go very far as well. I don't know.
Kraus has been doing well recently. He qualified for Premier, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he did, right?
Yeah.
Or he came really
pretty
close.
Sure. Yeah, like I remember his name. I'm like, I didn't know this guy, but he's done really well. But yeah, there's so many Night Enders there, and
yeah, lots of people that create upsets. It's actually insane, and this is again the non-seeded stage.
Yeah, it's just like everyone trying to qualify for it. I mean, we still got like all the Koreans and stuff, and oh my God, so many good Zegs.
Let's jump into the second group phase, and I know this is like a stupid question because there's only 2 people per group yet. What's the group of death there? What is the 2-person group of death here? This is like...
Oh my God.
That's a pretty hard one, actually.
Yeah, it is pretty tough.
Wait, I almost got it.
I think
okay, I got it. I got mine.
I got mine. But
Lucifon Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the group I would not want to go into right there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Mine is actually Pult Sage. I think both my boys got pretty tough opponents here. But yeah, it's close.
I'm still looking for mine. That's really hard.
Still looking.
Yeah. It's hard when there's only 2 people to make it. That's why I said it was a stupid question to begin with.
Yeah.
I go with K, because K looks pretty scary.
Yeah, I was gonna go with K, but I haven't really seen Puzzle play recently.
Yeah.
I think I'll just go with Group B. Like Sase did really well today.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Jaedong, so.
I don't know.
It's gonna be really interesting to see how Jaedong does.
If I had to pick a group, it would definitely. Like I wouldn't pick that group perhaps, but it would definitely like if someone said, okay, pick one group that you don't want to be on, that would definitely not be it. I don't know. They're all tough though.
They are. This is a ridiculous tournament. It's gonna be so sick.
Yeah.
Stacked, man.
Oh my God. Okay, so here's what I really wanted to get into with the Dreamhack preview thing. I want like a pick. You can choose 2 players to win. Okay, because it's like so ridiculous in this lineup to choose. Okay, who's gonna win? And then it's like, well, there's just so many good players. So 2 players from each of you. Who do you think's gonna win? Like actually first place. Who are the 2 people that can absolutely win this tournament?
Ooh, okay. Lenok for one, and second for me would be who was it going to be? I would choose MC. I'll just go with the easy picks. Lenok and MC for top 2.
Cheap. All right.
Yeah.
Apologies.
I think mine's gonna be even cheaper. I'm probably gonna have to go MC and Pult.
MC. That might be. Yeah. That's pretty cheap as well. But I guess you already said you didn't watch GSL last night, so it's not as cheap as Moonblades. All right, Cats. Which 2 players?
I think Yu-Gi-Oh and Pult are my picks.
Yu-Gi-Oh and Pult.
I would say it's Sage, but like I know Sage lost to Pult in the last couple of tournaments they played, so I don't know. Gumiho is there too. I think Gumiho could do really well. But Hero has actually been doing amazing in Pro League.
He beat Rain.
So Hero
recently,
And Dreamhack is kind of his thing too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
that's
is
true.
true.
He did win well.
Mm.
Yeah, there's so many possibilities, so many good players.
Everyone chose Koreans, and I don't know that I can really go against this, unfortunately, as much as I would love to. I have to go Leenock. Leenock, I think, I'm going to go with Hyun, man. Leenock and Hyun.
Hyun.
Those are,
Really?
yeah.
That's an interesting pick.
Oh.
I'm
Well,
liking, yeah.
I hope Hyun has fixed his ZBT since
Yeah,
GSL.
it didn't look too good against Gumiho.
No,
I was
but
a little bit nervous for him.
he's Hyun, man. Like, he knows how to kill foreigners, okay? He makes his living
that's
taking all the prize
That's true,
money from
man.
the scene, so
Stand
I have
true.
to go with him. We got to do one more final question about Dreamhack, guys. What foreigner can get the furthest? What foreigner is going to kill the most Koreans and actually has some possibility of doing well in this ridiculous field?
Oh God.
I'm going to say Naniwa, actually. He's been practicing a lot. Yeah, we actually haven't seen him in a while, so.
Feast
I'm gonna have to
has
go.
the best chances at PvP, I think. Feast's PvP is insane. So I think if he gets a good bracket, he could make it very, very far. I think, yeah, Lucifer and Naniwa Mana have really good chances here. Wellmu too. I want to pick Wellmu.
I'd probably say Lucifron. I got faith in Lucifron to do well against Koreans.
Yeah. I'm just going to copy you straight up. I was going to go Lucifron. It's actually... How weird is it? Like, how much has the scene changed that no one said Stefano?
Yeah. It's
Nobody
strange,
said
man.
Stefano.
Yeah.
What has happened? What has changed that no one's talking about him? That's weird.
Hmm.
Cue
Well,
Twilight Zone music.
he hasn't done that well recently.
I mean,
or hasn't really had any showings.
I mean, nobody picked the Zerg. So
Yeah, well, you know, it is hard at this one.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. Oh well, we'll get into that pretty soon here about that. All right. Any final thoughts on Dreamhack before we move on? I really want to get into more Starcrafty talk.
it's insane. Yeah, Apollo and you are going to be casting, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing to mention. And I'll be in one of the community streams as well. So I'm excited for that. Hope to cast a bunch
Sick.
of Sage and Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys don't pick older matches.
Well, Sage and Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm a pretty big fan of Sage, as everyone knows. It's watched a long time, so could have a few of those. All right, let's talk about WCS, the Korean version first. The round of 32 is done. I'll link you guys to the brackets. 1 second. Or the groups at least. And there's actually kind of a lot. Did you guys watch a lot of the Kodas?
I watched most of it.
Much as possible. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty damn good. But all right. So should I just cut right to the chase here? I hate having to say this, but I guess I am hosting, and I'm a Protoss player, so I don't want to have to. Is there something wrong with Protoss right now? Because Protosses, we have 3 of them in there, and let's look at which Protosses they are. We have Flying, who you can't actually figure out what build he's doing because he's making it up on the spot. Then we have SOS, and you can't figure out what build he's doing because it's never been seen before. But he's practiced it before, and he knows what it is himself, at least. And then, well, we have Parting. So, like, is there something wrong with Protoss right now? Because we have 2 pretty cheesy, aggressive guys, and then Parting that just kind of does the whole gambit.
That's a really tough question to answer.
It is.
I was expecting Squirtle to do a lot better, to be honest.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Creator was kind of doomed, and Bomber kind of cheesed him, so I don't know if that counts. Like Roro is just better in that group than everyone else, I think.
Oh yeah, I know. He was a step above. Well, that's one of the things where I'm like, I'm not sure yet because look at Rain, right? I put Rain as actually the best Protoss in the world, even though Parting's done more. Like I think they're close, but Innovation's just so fucking good. What do you do against that, right? Like,
Yeah.
and the same with Roro. Roro's so good. It's like, well, there's an auto loss right there, but
yeah, I think the upset there in that group in Group F was Gumiho completely. Like, I don't
Busting
think
it out.
Gumiho. Yeah, seriously. Like, Innovation has been like ever since Marine King. I've never seen anyone on the Korean ladder be as consistent as Innovation has been. he's been in the top 5 since beta. It's pretty much so. Since release, he's been like 1 through 5 on Korea ladder, and sometimes he ladders on Hiva's account or someone else's account, and he's still like top 2. It's Innovation. I think is the best player in the world right now. So I'm surprised Gumiho took him down. And Rain did take a series against Innovation, if I'm not mistaken, in that group.
Yeah. Although it was a little, he took it by the skin of his teeth and did an all-in at the end. So.
Yeah. But flying is pretty fucking good. But Shy, I think, if anyone's gonna give a run for his money to Rain, I think it should be Shy, SOS. And he did come out on top of his group. Squirtle has been really good, and he underperformed completely. So that's the one big surprise, I think.
That was pretty sad, actually, because like Squirtle is one of my absolute favorites. But back to the whole Shy thing, SOS, I feel like a big part of why he does so well is his really weird style, and just people aren't used to playing against kind of the way he plays. He'll mix in normal stuff too, but like overall he has more strange but very mapped out builds, where if you're playing it for the first time because he only practiced against his teammates, how the hell are you going to stop it? Because he practiced it against what you're trying to do, which is standard play. So it's like, I feel like he's one of those, I love him and I think he's great, but how long can that last into the tournament? Are we going to have any Protosses actually get deep? Like maybe parting, but is this one of those situations where there's like one guy, like back when Terran wasn't doing well, MVP wins a GSL, and it's like, well, right. he's that good. Is that what's going on here with Protoss?
Well, how many Protosses started the season? It was like 7?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes.
Yeah. So it's probably like maybe like half the Protoss got through. I think Rain probably should have gone through. But Gumiho was just kind of on fire then, and Innovation is Innovation. So I don't think it was like too bad, just because like I do think the race distribution like starting off was kind of bad.
I'm of the opinion that Zerg is slightly favored against Protoss, to be honest, but that's off of personal experience, and I don't know, the style that most people seem to be playing in GSL is very different to what I play. So I might be myself in a SOS kind of situation where I play different, and that's why I do good in that matchup. But Sage seems to think that Protoss is the better race. So I don't know. It's really hard to tell. I think most Terrans or most Protoss complain against Terrans, and I would say, if anything, most Zergs complain against Terrans too.
Yeah, most people just kind of complain against Terrans, it seems. Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I take a lot.
How strange.
All right, let's go ahead and jump. It's found inconclusive if Protoss is weak at the moment. Let's jump down to...
Give it more time.
Yeah. Season. No, of course. But I just had to bring it up because it's like, well, 3 Protosses in the round of 16 is the second worst we've ever had. I agree.
It'd be nice if there were more.
It would be. But let's talk about WCS EU. Did you guys see the premiere that went on last night?
Yeah, I actually saw it.
Okay, yeah, I started watching it, but like I'm not done yet. Pretty good. You guys have any opinions on it? I mean, the production to me seems really quite nice. Not like GSL standard yet, but it's really nice. Good casters, good games.
Yeah, I'm actually glad they brought in Todd. He has a lot of game knowledge, and at least it's not like
he's a really good caster. I really enjoy his French accent, man.
I do too, actually. It's kind of weird. I kind of like some of these accents. Like listening to Australians or French people cast is actually quite nice.
Yeah, those accents, man. Yeah, and he's a good caster. I really enjoy him.
It's funny too. So it's definitely entertaining.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. He's not afraid to show his bias from time to time. I heard
that is true
about Slipko. Like,
Slipko
is gonna make his favorite unit the Infestor and then transition into his second favorite unit.
That is Slivko, though. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at the group stage. The first group stage I just linked you guys in the chat. Of the EU, and I just want to know, what do you guys think as far... We'll do this pretty quick because I really want to get into something about the metagame that I find really interesting. But the group stage, group of death, which one is it?
Group of death, straight up.
I would have to actually say Group E. I think that's actually a really solid group overall.
I'd say
TLO's been playing really well. He's like the only Zerg in like the top 5 ladder at the moment. Cass and Naniwa are just beasts, and Shuttle, he's always been really good.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with E. It's pretty stacked. Every player has a chance.
Yeah.
I'd say F, and I think H may not be the highest group, but I think a lot of upsets could happen there. Sort of is really good. Like I said, Feast is really good at PvP, and Mana is really good at PvT last I checked. So I think that group could be a little bit crazy, Group H.
All these groups actually seem like really well balanced, to be honest.
Yeah.
This is like really a solid lineup. I'm gonna actually have to go with Group G. Like we have been underselling Baby Knight all show already somehow, and he's in there with Grubby and Stefano. Who Grubby's going to be the most prepared player in the tournament for certain. I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to plan this better than anybody. Stefano is Stefano, and Kras has been kind of on a tear. So
yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how Kras goes.
Yeah.
Never seen him play before.
All right, so is
every group
a Korean going to win this tournament?
I don't
a lot less chance, but they do have MVP, and that guy really pulls it out no matter what. But I haven't seen his form in a long time, so who knows?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people in the tournament that can take down MVP.
Yeah.
Like there's always an argument of Europe being better than North America. Europe definitely has a much deeper pool of players.
Yeah.
So I think just even if MVP had the best chances of winning the tournament, I don't think they're over 10%. So I think it's more likely that a European wins than a Korean.
I think that's pretty well said.
Yeah, I used to be like one of the biggest like MVP fans, but I haven't been too impressed with his gameplay recently. I'm not sure like his condition and stuff, so I actually don't think he's the favorite to win this at all. So I don't know. I don't know if a Korean's gonna win, but I definitely think this is the best shot for a foreigner to win, for sure.
Yep, I think Naniwa has really good chances depending on how well he's been practicing at Korea. Nani was just one of those guys, man. If he's practicing and if he's taking it seriously, he can definitely win it.
Yeah, absolutely. Is MVP playing from Korea? Like, all these Koreans is going to be playing on the Europe server from Korea?
MVP and MMA, I'm pretty sure. Well, MMA is on Acer, so I'm not completely sure. But MVP, I know, is still here. Yeah. So he should be playing for a little bit from here. I don't know when he's planning on going over. Like, it's the round of 16 up that has the actual LAN, right?
Right, exactly. And
he only has to win one group then.
Yeah, if you look at MVP's group, I mean, it's pretty unlikely that he won't make it out to the offline finals. So I don't think that's much of an issue. I think MMA might have a tougher group in that regard.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I don't know what time they'll be playing either. It could be like a horrific time for Koreans. But,
I guess it matters if it's in the morning in Europe, then it's at nighttime here, which is comfortable. But if it's like at nighttime in Europe, then you're screwed in Korea. Like you're just going to be up at some weird hour.
It's like 4 a.m. or something, straight up.
Yeah, something not too comfortable. But still, like, do we have any strong picks for who's going to win this? Because I'm looking at this player pool. I'm like, well, actually, anybody could have a good run and take this down. I see like 7 or 8
three
people
again?
that I could see.
How many do we pick?
Pick 3 people that are going to win this tournament.
Holy shit.
It's going to go easy on you guys. You can pick less than that if you want. You can pick 1 if you want, Moonglade. That's up to you, but that's a hard choice right there. But you can pick up to 3. No 4 picks. No 4 picks.
I'm going to go with Naniwa. Luciferon. And is Welmu here somewhere?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, shit.
He barely didn't qualify. Oh.
Yeah. Naniwa, Luciferon, and MVP. Okay. One of them.
Naniwa Vortex MVP for me.
I think I'm gonna go
Unless Vortex
MMA.
can't.
I'm gonna go MMA, Grubby, and probably Naniwa.
Grubby winning
I
would be
thought you
quite
were
a
gonna
story.
be different there.
Yeah.
I want to be different, but
You can do it, man.
I'm gonna go. Actually, all right. Here you go. Ready? Lucifron. Hold on. Wait. Thorazane.
Well.
I think I just have to say MVP. I would be so stupid not to. Those are, yeah, I'm gonna go with them. Oh, those are Terrans too. I didn't even mean to do that, Theogus. I swear to God.
Oh,
Okay,
Boy.
so I think our ratings are like 91 MVP are the favorites.
Mm.
am I the only one that didn't say
And
MVP?
then Lucifron, I think would be
Yeah,
third.
I think you are.
Oh my god, I don't love my race. What is this?
How can you do
Or
that
maybe
to
you're
us?
doing it just to be like, well, Terrans
Yeah.
aren't that good. I
Yeah, I
hope
didn't
it's
get
good,
to
man.
win. But
I should have.
that's like that is such a sick tournament. I think that is well, of course I find the Korean one the best because it's like the best overall pool.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
But this one is so entertaining. Holy crap, man! Like I was watching this morning and already really good games.
Definitely, the possibility for upsets is huge. The European server, like the metagame is very Terran heavy favored. I don't know. Terrans are really abusive on NA and Europe more so than on Korea. I find. Like I play on all three ladders, and just like NA and Europeans, they may not control as well as Koreans do, but Koreans don't do the shit that Europeans and NA players do, man. So I think we might see a lot of upsets here.
I look at this tournament and the pretty nice production they put together so far, and the really sick groups and the excitement and hype around the European WCS, and I feel like this is what Blizzard was aiming for.
Yeah,
It seems
Now
that
let's-
way.
Yeah, right. It's like, well, if this is what you're trying to make, I am so on board for that. And on that note, let's talk about WCS North America.
Oh shit.
Oh, it's so fun.
Okay, so there is a lot of drama-y stuff involved in this. All right, where do we really start? Cats, we're gonna have to dig you on this for a moment. The hacker situation.
okay.
Hackers playing the ladder, knocking people. First off, just go ahead and say some words on that so people get what's going on.
Okay, so before playing my match, I get messaged like by about 15 people on BattleNet and like Skype, like fellow pros and some other people, and they're like, "Hey, the guy you're about to play is a hacker." I'm like, "What?" And so I check his stats. Never heard of the guy before, and then turns out like a couple seasons ago he's like low masters, and this season he's grand masters with like 90 and 40 stats. So I was like, wow, either he really improved or something, or these people are onto something. So I requested an admin to watch my match. By the way, his previous opponent also messaged me, and I was like, yeah, everyone already messaged me he's a hacker, if that's what you're messaging me about. And he's like, yeah, but on top of that, he said he also drop hacks. Because he said he didn't lose connection or whatever, and he disconnected 2 minutes into the third game of their series. And apparently the rules on the website is that if you disconnect 1 minute after the match starts, the player disconnecting just disconnects and gets a loss. So by the time he reconnected, which was almost instantly, the hacker, or the alleged hacker, whatever you want to call him, had already reported the match and didn't want to replay, even though it was only 2 minutes into the game. So according to his previous opponent, he got drop hacked. So I brought the admin on. We played the games, and I specifically, by the way, requested an admin with game knowledge, because let's be realistic here, it's impossible to catch hackers and know 100% for certain. I don't think it's happened yet in Starcraft 2, unfortunately. The only way is if Blizzard releases the information on the warden or something like that, which In Control mentioned before, right? But there's actually no possible way to catch a hacker for sure, because hacks will cover many things. And then there's, like, for example, there's camera locks and things like that. In Brood War, you could get caught hacking because you would click on a different building that you had no vision of, for example. That's not the case with hacks in StarCraft 2. They're much more quote-unquote advanced. There's production tabs hacks, which is what this guy was accused of in Reddit threads and Team Liquid threads, which is almost impossible to prove as well. Unless, but if you're a high-level enough player, you see certain things that are like, okay, how did he do that? Or this would be really dumb in 90% of the time. There's no way a Grandmaster player would ever do this, or would skip scouting, or never scan, and that sort of thing can give it away. And when you have enough evidence and enough replays put together, you can determine for yourself, but you can never have 100% certainty. What was for sure, though, is that this guy was account sharing with another Polish dude, and he was denying it as well. And that's also forbidden. So even though they couldn't disqualify him on hacking, he got disqualified for account sharing. And yeah, basically it's a boosted account by a guy that is supposedly a hacker and posts on hacker forums. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. If you read the threads, there's like a ton of evidence pointing in that direction. But they were definitely sharing accounts for the tournament.
Wow. It's pretty messed up. But as you said, here's the devil's advocate thing. Like, we can't prove it right now 100%, right? And it's kind of like the death penalty. Like, well, you probably shouldn't sentence someone to death unless it's 100%, right? And like giving the hacker thing to someone is like a death penalty, or it should be at least. You know what we need is, you guys, the StarCraft guys here, remember Flag from Team Liquid? Someone needs to actually find that guy and bring him back, because the hacks in Brood War, remember, they would cover up what's the way that you're being found. But Flag always found new things and released it every now and then, and just, here's the new list of hackers. It's like,
oh,
this guy's hacking
and this
again.
is how we caught him. Yeah.
Yeah, this is how we did it this time, and then that gets covered up, and then he figures out another way. We actually, if anyone knows Flag, let him know Artosis is looking for him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you'd have to have a lot of experience with that. It's and with hacking, perhaps even, like, you gotta understand how the program works and where the flaws may be, maybe. But yeah, it is kind of like death penalty, and it's pretty horrible. But realistically, unfortunately, there is actually no way to prove that everyone's hacking. I mean, like, there's hackers on the ladder that will tell you that they're hacking, or won't refuse it, and that's nice. Like, that's like a breather. Every time I'm like, fucking shit, I'm playing a hacker, on the ladder, because there's so many. And then my stream's like, oh, how do you know? That's unfair. And then I'm like, hey, do you hack? And then sometimes they're like, yeah. I have like 16 banned accounts and shit like that. I've heard that before.
Holy shit.
They must have a lot of money. How are you not banned?
Yeah. There's this guy, Nerfy, I think.
Yeah.
That he's a Terran player, and he's hacked for like, I don't know how long. He was playing the Muslim earlier today on his stream. And I call him the friendly hacker, and I actually appreciate him because he's blatant as fuck. Like, he's like as blatant. Like, he doesn't try to hide it. If you ask him, he'll tell you he hacks.
Dude, he's so nice.
So he's so nice, right?
I played him, and he's like, "Oh, you're Theognis," and then he like leaves the game. He's like, "I love your stream." Like,
oh,
yeah, he's like really nice. He says I'm like his favorite Terran player, so I'm like, all right.
But yeah, he's still a hacker, but at least he doesn't.
I don't even know if I have a problem with that guy now that you said that. That's so like weird. Pretty legit as far as a hacker goes. What the hell?
Yeah, I call him the friendly hacker. Yeah, I don't mind.
Oh my god.
So there's actually a lot of hackers on the NA ladder, because I could never tell, to be honest. I've actually, like, I usually, like, if I lose a game, like, man, fucking hacker, or, like,
I would say it's a lot easier to tell for me, because my style is really reactive. It relies on hiding information a lot.
Right.
And like, I do things like, take a third hatch before a pool, and sometimes I'll get kind of rushed at my third before they see it. That sort of shit. It's if you play completely standard, it's a lot harder to tell if someone's hacking. But when you're playing off of hiding information, then it becomes obvious as you get more proof or as you play people multiple times.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So, on the subject of hackers here, like in a situation like this where it's so important, we're trying to make this big online league. How do we actually stop this? Is there an actual? Is it like a democratic thing where it's like, well, everyone knows that he hacks? Like, are we? How would we enforce this so that you don't get screwed over like that, Cats? That's because I don't actually have a really good answer to this right now. This is hard.
That's a tough thing. I don't think there can be a really good answer other than making offline leagues or. I'm thinking that there has to be a way where Blizzard allows a program like IC Cup had where you download the anti-hack, and then if both people are playing with that program, you can't possibly hack, kind of. I think that would be the best approach. Like force people to play with a program that will not allow you to hack. Obviously, I'm complete shit at computers. I don't know if I can be done, but that's how it worked in Broodwar, and it worked pretty well for the most part.
It did.
Sounds like the easiest way, because I mean, any other way is so hard with such a big online tournament. Like, it's just so many people. It's like you can't monitor every game. You can't really control it.
I don't think you could do that democratic way because it's like there's some hacks that are like very hard to like detect too. There's like the production tab hack. You just have that open, and like pros could use that and like never like get caught, so
God,
I know, for example, the makers of GameHeart, like without wanting to or knowing, maybe I didn't really understand, but like you can have kind of like the production open with GameHeart or something like that, but I don't know. After the whole WCS thing, they commented on the Reddit thread and they were like, oh shit, we didn't realize we might actually be helping out hackers, so we're gonna go ahead and remove or tweak a couple things, and I really appreciated that. I think I don't know, I know that like the hacker websites also have what Blizzard did at first, didn't they like sue and won like a big lawsuit over
there was a guy selling a hack in Starcraft 1 a long time ago, and he made like a fortune, and I'm pretty sure I heard that happened, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that would be a pretty good way to scare hack makers off.
Yeah,
I'm sure there'll still be some kid in his mom's basement that makes one though, like there will always be cheating online games. It sucks, but well, I'm sorry for that, Cats, that happened to you. It's a terrible thing. I've lost to hackers, man. I've had that.
I beat Wongson too, man. I was like gonna roll.
Shit.
Man. Damn.
Yeah.
Well, let's check out the next little piece of the Chinese fiasco. The whole thing that happened with the Chinese players, and this kind of leads into the way the tournament was with one 512 man instead of the way. Didn't ESL do 4 like 1,000-man tournaments?
Yeah.
Where like if you really botch the first one, at least there's 3 more. Yep. It seems like that was maybe one of the biggest mistakes that MLG made, was not giving themselves room to improve during the qualifiers.
It's not just room to improve, but like I may have lost to a hacker in the first tournament, but I'm probably not gonna hit that hacker in the second tournament.
Yeah.
It kind of eliminates all of these little things that could fuck a player over, or like the Chinese not being able to sign up, or just plenty of things. Puck from my team wasn't able to sign up either. There's just a lot of problems that would have Puck. Yeah.
Puck couldn't sign up?
No. So there's a lot of problems that could have been avoided by just having.
So
yeah. So I think that's the major thing. I think if they had changed that, they.
I think no one would be flaming them because it would have fixed everything for tournament 2. Like.
Yeah.
Would have already been good. Yeah, it's too bad. But about the whole Chinese thing, because I don't fully understand, right? Like, so a lot of them didn't get in, which just sucks. But the thing with Calm, because he didn't get in, so like a fan gave him the account to play.
Yeah.
What are your guys' opinions on that? Because I can see this going both ways. Of course, you're not supposed to use someone else's account, but if you are the Chinese champion, you're the best, right? And some scrub is in there that's like Gold League, and he's like, well, I really love your Zerg. You're so good. Please take my spot. Like, why would I have the spot over you? I can respect that. And this is about finding the best player. So what do you guys think on this subject? Because it's kind of wishy-washy.
Yeah, I think, and I feel partly guilty because of the hacker thing. I think that MLG was forced into that because like I said, they disqualified the hacker, not because he was hacking, because they couldn't prove that, but they disqualified him because he was account sharing. So I mean, at that point, it's an issue of consistency. I personally didn't know that Com was playing on that account, but I mean, you know, it's just that I feel like it might have been an issue of consistency at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like maybe if Com told everyone from the start that it's Com on this account, maybe he could like MLG.
Oh, he
would be
didn't.
like,
He didn't like announce ahead of time. Like someone gave me their spot or something.
Yeah,
I think so.
I don't think he did.
So
Yeah, I think it was later on.
It's a bit more shady that way.
Yeah,
like, if
I know
that
is a bit more shady than it seems on the top for sure.
Yeah. So I can.
Yeah,
I
you
can
don't know
see
who you're playing and then get destroyed.
No, I know you play
Exactly.
different against someone named Fruits Basket and.
Oh, absolutely,
sure.
yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely.
It's yeah, like it's very different playing as the better. Like people need to take into account mindset. It's so important. Like for instance, when I played against the hacker, after 15 people messaged me that he hacked, the first game I tried to play as safe as possible, not cut any corners, not do anything out of the ordinary, you know, and that's not how I would normally play. And then the second game, I like tempoed him and tried to like try to bait him into an obvious, you know, an obvious case of hack, and that didn't work either. But you know that mindset is so important. So the same goes for Com and /Fruit Basket. Like if you're playing a player that you think is better than you or on your skill level, you don't play the same as if you were playing someone that you feel you're better than.
For sure. Yeah.
Like against a better player, like for instance, if I had to play Moonglade on the ladder, or if I had to play a no-name Zerg on the ladder, I would probably skip my Spinecrawler against Moonglade, for example. And that's 150 minerals that I wouldn't skip against the worst player in order to get a small advantage like that. So yeah,
it's good information for you, Moonglade.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. He doesn't have a spine, dude.
No spine,
You're in
bitch.
trouble, man. But yeah, I agree completely. Like if I'm playing some random compared to Com, like I would be thinking like, okay, like I'll feel this guy out. I'll play safe because he could just be a noob that's gonna cheese me. If it's gonna be like Com, it's like, okay, he's gonna have crisp micro. I can't just take advantage of him in certain ways, and like I got to be careful of like everything. So I don't know. It's just a different play style altogether. So he really should have let people know from the start. But at the same time, MLG should have probably had a way to get notable players in before all the randoms flooded in. Like maybe like, hey, send us an email if you're a notable player and you want in on this. Give us some achievements and we'll put you in. But alas, everything was rushed, so they couldn't really get anything done.
A lot of people being kind of left behind, unfortunately. And you know what really makes me sad is with just a small portion of the Chinese pro scene getting in, how many of them actually, I think the 3 that did get in all made it within one match of qualifying.
Oh, man.
Like, they are legit good. It's
damn good.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're good.
It's such a waste. Such a waste they couldn't show their skills.
Yeah, and I do have to say, definitely one way to inflate viewer numbers is to have Chinese in your tournament, because that is a big country with a lot of people that like games, man.
Absolutely.
So, 8 Koreans qualified. Anyone surprised that no one got through from foreigners?
I was hoping for one foreigner. I was hoping like Kane or the Muslim or someone made it through.
Yeah, I was hoping for one. Hoping for one.
Yeah, I think
I'm not totally surprised, but I definitely thought 1 or 2 would.
It's saddening, but you know.
If you looked at the brackets, like the foreigners that made it the farthest, perhaps with the exception of the Muslim, like had pretty good opponents or pretty easy rounds. Yeah. It was pretty crazy, man. Like with Kane, when they released the brackets, I swear I told Kane, okay, I'll take down Huang Xin, you take down Mia, and we'll meet and like be 1 away from the qualifying spot. Then I take down Huang Xin, but then the STC wasn't playing on, like his name didn't show on the MLG website as the STC. You had to click on it. So Kane lost to the STC before Mia, and he was actually pretty confident against Mia. And then I lost to the hacker, and that our plan went to shit. Would have cheesed the shit out of him.
You would have got him good, Cats. Oh. He's lucky. All right, I don't know that we really need to go over too much more of the WCSNA. It's too bad all those things happened. Hopefully in the future, I think the best way to solve this is probably 4 tournaments instead of 1 in a situation like this.
Maybe like the rounds closer together too. I don't know. Like it was
Yeah.
so much time wasting.
Yeah,
What do you guys think about like paid entry though?
I would agree with paid
For that.
entry, to be honest.
Yeah, I
At
think
least
that would like fix the
$5.
issue. Yeah, I think that would
Stop
fix the
random
issue with
And
the Chinese.
and that wasn't MLG's fault because the community bitched about it. You know,
That
it's-
is,
Yeah,
ooh,
yeah.
that's a good point because that
Yeah.
that is one of those situations where the community like force that change because
Yeah.
with paid entry you are definitely cutting out a lot of the worst players and
yeah.
Absolutely.
you know I mean as
Well-
long as the Chinese have some way to pay online they probably would have had it been in those slots. That is true.
The
Yeah.
best
People
system
giving
for qualifiers. Go ahead. Oh,
No, I was just saying people giving MLG like a lot of shit about that, but that definitely is something that would have had like Puck would have been in that tournament, man, for sure if it was $20 to get in, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Straight up.
I think the best system for qualifiers we've ever seen in StarCraft 2 is probably TSL. You know, it's like 8 tournaments for 8 spots, or something like that, or like 6 tournaments for 8 spots, and then the top 2, or like a certain amount of people get in based on points as well. So someone that's consistently doing well in every tournament, like Wellmoo, would have made it in. I think that's the best system from qualifiers, and
I agree. Yeah.
yeah, and it's the most fair, I think. So I wish they had done something like that. I think MLG made a lot of mistakes. They recognized those mistakes. People have to take into account that they're kind of new as far as online broadcasting goes. They're mostly really good at offline events, and fuck, MLG has so much for StarCraft 2. Like I think it's okay to be a little bit harsh on them, but not so much. I think that we're overreacting a little bit as a community, and we should be thankful that we have MLG around, if anything.
I can't disagree. It's it's that one decision because all pros want to see a double elimination tournament too. You got to remember that. Like as soon as you see double elimination, you're like, oh, thank God! Like I can actually get deep in here. Like I'm good enough or whatever, you know. But like I think 4 single limbs is better than 1 double because then you have 4 rounds instead of 2. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh well. Okay. Time to get into the really interesting stuff. At least for me, the really interesting stuff. All right, I want to talk a bit about like the metagame and the changes going on, the current balance, the current strategies that are popular and stuff like that. And the one thing that I have really seen, I want to hear all of your opinions because everyone here plays. Like Katz, you do all 3 servers. Moonglade, I know you do 2 servers. Theognis, I'm not sure about you.
Just NA.
Just NA. All right.
Yep.
So you know we have a nice spread here, and I play just Korea, so like it's a pretty good spread overall. But I've seen like a huge resurgence in hellbat play.
Yep.
A huge one in Terran vs. Zerg in games that I've watched on people's streams and stuff. And just being Protoss on the Korean server, like the last couple days, I have been hitting hellbat compositions and hellbat timings where it's like bio plus hellbat. So I need to hear if you guys have seen something similar to this or what.
Oh yeah, I've been doing the bio plus hellbat against Protoss for like at least like a month now. I usually only do that against like if they open Templar. If they go Colossi, I just go bio Viking, and then if it gets to the late game, then yeah, I'll obviously add it in. But yeah, I've been having some pretty good success against Protoss with it. All you really need is like just really nice upgrades and hellbats, and you know you don't even need to add in ghosts for the most part. You can just like storm dodge, and you know that usually gets the job done. In Control was kind of telling me about like hellbat drops like later on in the game and stuff like that, but I haven't really experimented too much with that, like the harass style. I usually just kind of mix in 6 to 10 with my army, and it's really good just with tanking all the zealots and archons.
Yeah, actually, that's really interesting that you said you don't really need ghosts, because I actually hit something while I was streaming yesterday where the guy came without ghosts. I'm like, oh, this is easy. I have 5 storms. And I cast 5 storms. They actually connected reasonably well, and he still killed my entire army. And I was like,
yeah.
What? What the hell is this? Is this like, do you think it's like actually here to stay, this TVP style? Like,
I do think you do need ghosts. Like, it kind of comes like all in-ish if you stay just like bio hellbat for like a long time. I think one of the things is you can't really transition into Colossi too quick. You have to just make like a lot of Templar. They don't have EMP, so you don't have to worry about them getting EMP'd. So you can even just like let them sit there and just like gather energy. But yeah, I think that people are kind of transitioning too quick to Colossi against just Bio Hellbat. I think if they are adding a Ghost, then you do like kind of need to switch up into Colossus real fast.
I find in Protoss vs Terran, if my opponent goes for a Hellbat based composition, I feel like when you start to enter the very late game, like Supreme late game, that Hellbats become worse, similar to Roaches.
Yeah.
Where like Hellbats are great because Protoss. Tell me what you think about this. This is what I theorized yesterday. Was Hellbats are really great against Protoss because all of our good units cost gas and we fill in everything else with Zealots.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the later it gets in the game, normally you're losing gas units, so you're replacing those and you're still filling with Zealots. But I've found that if I can get like a solid 3 bases and then somehow get my 4th up, if I just turtle completely against Hellbats, I literally make like 10 cannons in front of my 4th base with Psystorm behind it. And if I can like bleed off Zealots slowly and just make a gas-based army, I feel like suddenly the Hellbat composition is a piece of crap that I'm just going to roll over. What do you think?
Yeah, I typically just go the Bio Hellbat, just kind of like in the mid game, and then, if that doesn't work, I start transitioning into Ghosts and Vikings. And then, kind of like in the late game, I just go Marine Marauder, Medevac, Viking, Ghost, Hellbat, pretty much everything. And I find that really effective just because, like you said, like, one of the problems in late game TVP and Wings of Liberty was, even if you win the battle, you wouldn't be able to stop, like, the 30 Zealot flood afterwards.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have the Hellbats with your army, you can pretty much just mop that up pretty easily. So you can kind of deal with the Remax pretty effectively. Yeah, so I don't think that you should stay just on Bio Hellbat. Like I said, it does kind of become all in after a while.
Yeah.
So you do just kind of go into that kind of like Death Ball as Terran, like 10 Ghosts, maybe like 10 to 15 Vikings, and like 6 to 10 Hellbats, and you're really strong in the late game.
Do you like to upgrade the ship plating, or do you like to get ship weapons either?
Yeah, I've preferred just ship weapons. I haven't really played around with like upgrading my Hellbats. I might start doing that though, but I haven't really tried that out. Yeah, because like if they do get like 3/3 Colossi, if you don't upgrade your Vikings, they pretty much never die. So it's a little bit worrisome.
Well, have you seen any new strats coming from Protoss, like any shifts? Are Protoss is playing a little bit different now? Because we were talking a little bit before about like a lot of double forge play against which Terrans were getting a little bit more aggressive, maybe some Hellion builds, maybe some quick stim timing, stuff like that. But have you where is regular Protoss play going? Because I know what I do, but I don't know what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. I've heard a lot of different things from like different Terran players, but it's kind of weird on NA. Like that metagame is a little bit stagnated. I think that's just partly due to like the tournament scene. There hasn't been too many tournaments because like NA basically just copies like the tournaments. Like you usually just see all the IEM builds of like MC doing like Orc All-ins and like all that us are doing that. Yeah, like it's I've actually seen a lot of DTs like the MVP Tails build where it's like 730 DT push. Like Warpism. I've seen a lot of that. But other than that, it's just really quick, like greedy robos into like forges. Not too much of the one gate into like 2 forges, like I thought. I thought that would kind of be like the mainstay, but I haven't seen too much of that recently. But yeah, like since I've been playing on NA, it's kind of nothing too much has like changed, I would have to say. So
yeah. Do you think? Because I know that you watch like plenty of Korean stuff and whatnot. Does the NA metagame, and actually Moonglade, you're gonna be able to pitch in well with this, like does it change slower, the NA metagame, compared to other metagames?
Yeah, I would definitely, for sure.
Is it like more stagnant or just like more resistance towards it? Like people are more stuck on their strats, or what is it exactly?
Stagnant, I feel. Like after like playing on Korea for a long time and coming back to NA, I feel like I got such a good mindset and I know everything that's coming and I've seen it all before and like I'm in the future coming from Korea. Pretty much. Like it feels everything just develops so much quicker over there, and it's definitely it stagnates a lot.
Yeah, I pretty much all the builds are from like tournaments like IEM and I guess some GSL builds and stuff like that, but
Uh,
I haven't really seen any like super new like metagame builds.
Do we stop talking about hellbats?
No, we're still talking.
we're talking about
that's
this slower evolution. Welcome back, cats, to the NA metagame compared to Korean metagame. Do you agree with that? The NA metagame is a little bit slower on its evolution, a little bit more stagnant.
No, I actually disagree with that.
Oh,
Right.
okay. This
Because I
guy.
got two nerds here that say otherwise, so please
Yeah,
explain
man.
your point of view.
Cat's the innovator.
Well, I think that Korea's always focused on getting, and this I copy from Succeed actually, but like getting from point A to point B as fast as possible. Now, where NA and Europe have always been more experimental in their play and their strategy. Like I said, I feel like there's a lot more abusive strats coming from Terran in the NA and Europe servers, whereas the Koreans, they just try to straight up outplay you. You know, with you know, like more standard unit compositions. I also find that Korean Zerg play, like for example, I've played a lot of Koreans. Like no one does on Daybreak what I do the split map thing. The Mungle, I think you do that too, right? No?
Yeah. After you told me about it. Yeah, man.
So I think that shit's like broken, and I think that a lot more people do that kind of style in North America and Europe than in Korea. So I think it's always like slightly different metagames, but usually big tournaments like GSL or you know other big tournaments dictate the meta a little bit. So there's always some of that as well mixed in.
Now, let's jump back into Hellbats for a minute and TVZ. Is this actually becoming a thing where it's just Marine, Marauder, Medevac with Hellbats? Is that actually... Because I've seen it a few times here and there. Is that becoming like an actual good strategy?
It's decent. It's decent.
I saw the Muslim beat Jadong with it. I'm like, what is this? What am I watching?
Yeah, it can be very strong for sure. Lots of timings with Hellbats. I think like later it gets, the more useless they'll become. Like especially if you get to like ultras or something. But
yeah, Banelings also do a lot of damage against Hellbats,
like,
and they can't micro against it.
My counter to like Hellbat M is just like if I'm going muted Bane, just a whole ton of Banes just run right through. Because,
exactly.
There's nothing to stop them really.
Yeah, if they're going for Hellbats, you should be going for a lot more Banelings. Whereas if they were going for tanks, you want to mix in just a few Banelings and more like Lings and the Banelings mixed in between. And if they're going for mines, I think that's the hardest to deal with. But I think it's just small adjustments if you're going Muddling Baneling. But I don't think Hellbats are super strong in the army in itself. I think that Hellbat drops, though, are still really, really, really strong.
Oh, yeah. Like, if they're going mech and they're opening with Hellbat drops, it kind of, how much damage they do completely dictates to how well the mech's going to go.
Or
like
even into bio.
Yeah, I guess so. I find that a lot rarer. But yeah, absolutely.
Really, like I find mech to be really easy to beat. Where I find I find that old like people say things like, well, if you're going mech, you need to damage early on. It's not like Wings of Liberty. You can't just sit back or like not harass a lot, right? And that's fine, but you can do the exact same opener and go into bio and have the same advantage carry over if you actually do damage. And I feel like that's always a better option. I don't know. But again, like I feel like a lot of people don't play Storm Host against mech. And just my mass Storm, like, imagine this and tell me one mech composition that can even move against this shit, right? Storm Hosts and Infestors with Neuroparasite.
Wow.
Wow.
Wait.
You reckon?
Ghost
Hold on.
Ghost
Explain
Banshee.
a little bit better. Yeah.
Well,
So you neural...
What are
like-
we neuraling? I'm like, I just became confused. What's going on here?
anything that gets off position. And then eventually you get Vipers. But basically, if you siege mech with Storm Hosts, they can't move. They don't take damage, but they can't move. As soon as they start moving, they start taking damage. With the Infestors, you fungal, which gives you more time to kite from their base back to yours.
What is the neural parasite for is the part that's confusing me.
Thors mostly, or tanks that get off position.
Like Banshees, maybe.
That could work too, but mostly for Thors if they have those mixed in.
It's interesting.
So like, wait, is this the Thors walking up to your swarm host? I'm sorry, I'm actually really confused
Well,
by the
from
neural
time to time,
parasite.
whatever
I don't
whatever
see the
they can do.
synergy.
Okay, they have to. Mech has to unsiege at one point and move
Yeah.
towards you. So
So
there's
you're just
always
grabbing
shit
like the
that's gonna
front
be
row or
opposition.
something?
Yeah, you can always grab. Like if there's stores in the front, you grab those and they kill everything.
But if it's swarm host play, isn't fungal what you're trying to go for there? Because it slows them down and deals
If
damage?
like you go fungal against hellbats, for example, the only point in time, like if they're heavy on Thor, it's a completely different game that you're playing. Basically, if they're heavy on Thors, that's when you use Nerve Parasite. The people think like that's I say Nerve Parasite not because you need Nerve Parasite every time. I say
Okay.
it because if you're gonna say Thors, well, fuck you. It's 150 is an upgrade that's pretty affordable and people don't get it.
Mhm.
But against Thors, it just destroys, right? And there's always shit that can get off position that you can have anyways.
Is Thor a good counter to swarm host? I think I'm like, I feel
when
like swarm
now
host
they
just
can
kind of counter mech straight up.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The infestors
Yeah,
are to delay and add insult to
Vipers,
injury
man.
until you can get Vipers. Yeah.
You just
But
blinding
people
cloud their
try to-
tanks and
Yeah, but people
Enjoy.
try to get to Vipers too fast, I find. You can
Yeah.
just siege mech, and it's a stalemate until you get Vipers. So you can get Vipers
Mm.
whenever you want. It'd still be a 200, except you'll be playing it a little bit safer. And then you either blinding cloud if they have tons of tanks, and then the swarm host will start pushing forward, or you start picking off the army with thingy.
abduct.
Who is it that we watched the other day? Was it Keen that went mech against Zerg in the long game on Akalon in Kodas? Does anyone remember this? A Terran went mech for like a
was
really
against-
long time.
It was
Was it
against like a
Mario?
Kesper player, right?
I
It was-
think so.
Wasn't
I
Mario
think
against Sulky?
Yeah,
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 Mario
There
was
we
against Sulky.
have it.
that was it.
But yeah, like his whole
What did you
strategy
think of that?
revolved.
Yeah.
His
I
whole
did not
strategy
like
revolved.
Sulky's anti-mech play, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of his anti-mech play,
Is-
but is that like
waste.
when the thing is when Maru did it? I'm like, is this something you can do? Play this super long game?
Oh
Because
yeah.
Sulky only made like 5 swarm hosts or something, or 7. So I was
Yeah. I feel like it could have been shut down a lot easier. Like he was like massing lings and shit, like against mech. Like man, it's like the worst unit you can make against mech. But
Yeah.
he managed
If-
to win.
If it
anyway.
ever goes to a super late game, you can do the exact same thing that you do against Protoss and split map, and it's win against anything. I think Zerg has the strongest late game as long as you can divide the map.
Yeah, as long as it's
For
like
sure.
the perfect situation for you, like
Yeah,
it's
I feel
been-
like you can only do
Like
that
I've-
on like Akalon or Daybreak or something. as
Or
Terran.
Newkirk, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I've still lost games to mech and long games too at that, but usually that's when if you're mining the same amount and if you're dividing the map, with static defense, swarm host, vipers, and fungal, there is nothing, including air, that should be cost efficient against it, ever. I thought nukes might do it, but they don't. Because you can just uproot everything and come back later.
The cat's ultimate strategy versus all race.
It's a good
It's
strat.
broken,
It's a good
yeah.
strat. I wouldn't say broken, man. Let's look at crazy. I say it's like it's ideal.
Have lost
It's-
a
it's an
CVP
ideal.
with it and split map.
In a perfect situation, no. I've been extremely cost effective, but you have to get to that situation, man. You got to go through a lot to get there. I feel so.
Yeah.
It's not
Okay.
like it's
Like
from the
we're
get go.
we're talking end game.
We're
You
talking like
shouldn't
perfect.
end
Okay.
game, right? That's
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You shouldn't call it broken, man. Come on, don't get blizzard onto this. Let's just keep it down the down low. Now, just slow down, man.
No, actually, I've played against the mass like 25 plus swarm hosts on Daybreak, and as far as I know, that cannot be broken. Like I've tried, but
It's actually really fun for the Zerg too, because you're just suiciding all these free units over and over
yeah.
again.
Oh, that's fun, huh? Mm.
It's really fun, man. I have a great time when that happens.
You like giggle whenever a Templar dies. It's like, oh, that was
Yeah,
great.
like he comes forward to like storm
Strange.
something, and
I'm
like he's trying to
slowly
storm my
pulling-
locust. I'm just
Yeah.
laughing. Just
I
laughing.
hate storming locusts. Nothing
Yeah.
feels more wasteful to me.
Yeah, man.
I hate it to death. Oh my god, it's so painful. All right, so I read a tweet from Stefano complaining about hellbats, and he said in the tweet he doesn't really complain about balance, and he doesn't. He's always gone
Yeah,
against the grain of Zerg players.
he always
What
says
was he
Zerg
talking
OP.
about?
I'm
Huh?
probably just. I'd say Hellbat drops, if anything.
Yeah, it was just drops. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
I
sure.
think hellbat drops are the biggest problem. But I think you pointed out something that's really really important that was fairly obvious, I think, to anyone. But people don't think about it, right? But it should be obvious. Like hellbats only cost minerals. You just pointed this out, and then the only mineral dump for Zerg and Protoss gets hard countered by hellbats.
Yeah.
So I mean, like you said, I agree. If you make cannons and turtle, that's probably the better thing that you can do. But if you're making your gasless units against their gasless units, that's not gonna work out too well.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
So cost effective.
well, in TVZ though, with the hellbat drops, is that actually an issue after all the
Yeah.
changes that hellbats have gone through? Is that actually too good?
Hell
Yeah,
Can
I would even say so. It's a problem when like Terrans are even complaining about it in TBT. It's just like the Hellbats. I think one of the problems is just like they get healed by the medevacs, and
Yeah.
like when you drop like 4 Hellbats with like 2 medevacs, like they just don't die. And it's definitely a problem in TBT as well. I've talked to a lot of like pro Terrans, and like they've all been complaining about it. The EU server apparently is like everyone's going mech. I think like 4GG like single-handedly like changed the metagame over there. 'Cause, like everyone's going mech drops over there, so I'm a little bit scared that it's gonna come over to NA. I mean, people are already doing it, but it's not like widespread yet. So yeah, I definitely think they're a little bit too cost effective.
Well, it's kind of funny, Tasia versus Fantasy going on, because by the way,
Yeah.
I think that we spoke before about how Mech kind of fell out of TVT a little bit because of the speed medevacs, and now we're seeing the Kespa Terrans do it a lot. And then the game with Fantasy versus Tasia, where Fantasy killed like 100 SCVs with the Hellbat drops, but then Tasia started making a lot of missile turrets, and Fantasy got killed. Like, because I watched this morning Bunny versus 4GG on Aklon, and
watched
they
that
killed
game.
over 200 SCVs. It was crazy. It was a fun game, but no one really made missile turrets, to ever deter any of this. Like, are people actually just being too greedy by not making missile turrets, Theognis, or is this? Does it? I know that you can like kind of fly over, but the thing is, it puts more
Yeah.
of a clock on it. Mm.
Yeah, I don't think the problem is like mid or late game like Hellbat drops. I think it's really like the early game stuff, because you can defend like 1, 2, or 3 of the Hellbat drops, but if one of them gets off, like you can just lose the game straight up from there.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
like in the mid or late game, yeah, you just make turrets, but like you can't really make 3 or 4 turrets around your main like early game.
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
course.
Because like if they don't drop, then you're just behind then. So
Like a spore or a spine in a mineral line helps a lot. The other problem is that even if they drop it, even if you're perfectly defended for it, they'll still kill a few drones. So it's a really low risk situation, I feel like. And then if you don't have a spore or a spine already in your base, like if you didn't scout hellbats, which is not necessarily super easy to scout, you can just straight up lose, because like your drones can't outrun the boosted medevacs. They'll always take damage. And if they're doing multiple prong drops and shit, even if you have 4 queens, it's just so hard. It's just so very hard for the Zerg, and not so much for the Terran, I feel.
So does this make it the Hellbat the unit furthest from what it should be in the game right now? Like, I'm trying not to say like unbalanced or something like that, but if even Theognis is saying like Hellbat drops might be too strong, they're kind of messing with TVT a little bit. They're changing metagames on entire servers based around their drops, and they've already been toned back to the point where you need the army to make them, and only 2 fit per medevac. Are they still like? And you have to know that it's coming as Zerg, or you're going to lose a lot, and you're still going to lose some no matter what. Is this something that like really needs to be changed?
I don't know.
yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but I think like one little tweak that they could do is just not get healed by medevacs. I think that would help a lot.
Yeah, that'd be good. I mean, it's not just the Hellbat. It's like Medivac plus the Hellbat boosts plus dropping them on running workers sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's a combination of the two.
Fast.
If you took away that healing, though, Theognis, would you ever use them again against Protoss?
Yeah,
I think that'd still be
No,
very.
yeah,
viable.
I still think they'd be good because, like
I
you
think
said, they're
that
like a mineral
they'd
dump.
still be
So.
they'd still be better mineral dump than Celots, and they would still tank more than Hellions.
Yeah, for sure. That's
Yeah,
quite
absolutely.
true.
Just bring SCVs and they'll be fine. So
Yeah.
pair them that way.
Yeah, it's so disgusting that it can get healed and repaired at the same time. Yeah, I think I stand as far as Terran goes, pretty much where I stood in the beta, like in terms of just Terran having a lot of new things that are strong, and they're not all as spread out as I would like. Like for example, the Raven is much better than it used to be, but no one complains about the Raven because
No,
that's not where people are losing games right now. We'll be happy when we get to complain against Ravens because we'll be past the annoying part, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just the sheer amount of options that Terran has is what's a little bit annoying for the other two races.
Taking a while to boil it down, and then you have to figure out what to do against it. And
Yeah.
I got one final question about metagame. Goes to Theognis.
Yeah.
The Kespa-Terrans are going mech.
Yeah.
And you're a StarCraft 1 Terran.
Yeah.
We know for a fact that Kespa-Terrans are the best Terrans. I don't
Okay.
care if Tasia beat Fantasy. The Kespa-Terrans know how to go mech, and they're going mech. And it seems like they've decided to go mech. Do you think that this is temporary, or do you think mech's actually going to take over as people become better?
I do think that it will definitely have a place in the metagame. I kind of said a while back that I didn't think that it would be like a mainstay, and that's just because like the bio drops early game. But a lot of people just aren't going bio drops anymore, like bio based openings, like a one racks expand, because you can't even do that anymore because of Reaper openings. And the hellbat drop, it's really hard to defend it if you're going bio because you don't have like mines and you can't get Vikings. So yeah, basically like the fear of the hellbat drop and stuff like that, that's basically forcing a lot of like builds away from like the bio drops, which is really what I thought was the big weakness about mech, was just kind of securing your third base and kind of like dealing with the immobility early on. So like the hellbat drops have been kind of blocking like the bio drop timings. So I definitely do think mech's really strong nowadays. So I definitely think it will stay around.
Are you going to switch over to mech from bio?
Yeah, I've actually been practicing it already. I've been probably just doing like 50-50 right now. I'm just kind of mixing it up. So I haven't like totally switched over yet, but it's definitely strong.
Cool. All right, well, I think that's a decent place to go ahead and end this first little quick episode. I hope everyone enjoyed. You guys want to shout out your sponsors and whatnot? Why don't you go ahead?
Do we skip talking about GSL?
We talked about GSL, didn't we?
Yeah, we talked about WCS Korea, man.
All right, let's talk about GSL.
Did we? Because we didn't talk about GSL.
We definitely talked about GSL. Let's talk about it again. I guess we didn't do it enough for Cass's love for
talk
these
about
players.
it again.
Wait, did we even go into any matchup? It was just yesterday.
We talked about it just kind of generally for a little bit.
I guess we didn't really go over.
But okay, let's do it, Cats.
Who's gonna win?
You want to talk about last night or a different night? What do you want to do?
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. We went over the groups of GSL, but we didn't go over last night.
Okay.
Last night was awesome.
Let's go over last night. It was pretty cool. Does anyone here think Lennox pretty good? Like,
yeah,
he's pretty amazing.
Hey, what happened? I didn't see him.
Okay. You didn't see it, Theognis? You're getting spoiler right now. I am so sorry.
I saw last got 0-2'd and I was like, oh, I don't need to watch this. So
it's pretty unimpressive play by him, to be honest. It's not that good.
Did you guys catch like partings like after an interview, like post GSL interview? He sounds like he really hates the ESF players or something, or like really hates StarTale. Yeah, he was talking some mad trash, man.
Yeah.
He's a trash talker.
Yeah, he's a trash talker.
Is he kidding or is he serious?
He's kidding, man. I think.
Really? It sounded like he was
probably.
He said he's going to be any StarTale player that's left in the round of 16. So it's kind of funny when he said that.
And he was going to eliminate any ESF player or whatever.
I mean, that's what Genius said when he left MVP as well. He was like, I'm going to kill every MVP.
How'd that work out for him?
Just like hate their family or something after it? I don't understand that kind of mentality. Or maybe it's just joking, I don't know. But it sounded pretty legit. I didn't get their humor, maybe.
Okay, so
Interesting.
Leenock versus fucking Life was pretty awesome. Leenock just Leenock is so aggressive, and then like I almost just want to learn that build and copy it mediocrely, because like you need to fucking not miss an inject for that.
Yeah, no, I couldn't even believe he was like I was so surprised how many lings he kept having come. I'm like, so is this what perfect injects look like?
Yeah, pretty much. Like his macro was dead on, and he just kept links and banelings rolling in and controlling them was like so very good. And that's against probably the guy that has the best link control in the world.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if that works fucking like twice in a row, that's just amazing. So I was really impressed with Linux play. And then when they rematched, I was really sad that he tried to just play him straight up instead of playing to what I think his strength is, which is just really aggressive early game.
Yeah.
So that made me a little bit sad. It was almost like he thought, ah, shit, it's Life. He's gonna figure me out, you know. But
I think so, because if you look at the first game with the heavy aggression, he just kind of killed him there. In the second game, he did a little bit of damage, but he had to bring in the long game because Life did so much better against it. So I think he was like, well, on this path, like eventually Life is going to stomp this, you know.
Yeah,
that's my guess as to why he did it.
I think the second game, it was more like, I think Life is gonna think that I'm gonna do the same shit as first game, so I'm just gonna head and drone up behind it. I don't think Life was in a much better spot than the first game to hold it off, except he had the third queen a little bit earlier. So that might have been Linux Q to do that, but like I don't know.
I thought he started his lings a bit earlier too, just a little bit. Life.
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, perhaps. I don't know if you've hit Leenock on the ladder Moonglade in CVZ.
Not for a long time.
Okay, well, when I hit him, and Vive says that every time he's played him too, all he ever does is that shit. Just like Baneling Bust, Baneling Bust, Baneling Bust. And Vive is like, I've never held it, and I sure as fuck have never held it either. So like, I remember back in the day when it was like Ling Baneling against Ling Baneling every game, like 14 gas, 14 pool, Ling Baneling, Ling Baneling. Like that was when I first played on the Korea server, and then I got Leenock, and holy shit, it was like I'm having cost efficient trades, and then I'm looking at the replay, and then we're like even on trades and shit. Like I'm like fucking get a sick Baneling hit, and then my money's like 600 and his is like 0. It's fucking like you just like he's so good.
Well. Unfortunately, he doesn't move on because...
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's good that we had Parting in the next round, thank God. He played pretty well. He had some cool builds, actually. I liked his thought process in his games. It actually, like, it was a level above what I was thinking while I was trying to cast it. I'm like, this isn't a good move, and then I realized, like, a minute later, I'm like, wait a minute, this is the only move. This is the brilliant move, and this is why Parting is a world champion. Artosis is fucking just Masters level.
He just like trashed what's his face last, and then Leenock. Yeah. That was pretty okay serious, but I felt like the first 2 games were kind of big mistakes on both ends.
What was Leenock's build that first game? It felt that it was so out of place. It was so out of place.
Like it's almost standard to open with a Hydra Link pressure of that, but then he didn't do it. Like he just waited until he didn't open Link Hydra. He opened Hydra Roach, and then he went for a late ass poke when he didn't have the Vipers yet. It's kind of a common mistake. I think he wanted to poke to the third, maybe provoke a Nexus overcharge, and maybe some Warpins instead of Tech, and then back. I think that was his plan. But then he got caught in the middle of the map, and he lost so much shit, and then he still went for the Viper timing that he was going for, and it just went terribly. So I think that he just like that was just horrible. Yeah. And then the second game was just Parting suicided. You had it spot on actually in your commentary. Parting suicided an Immortal, and then he had the Templar tech to answer to the Vipers, but then he didn't warp in Templars because he had to make the extra Colossus again. So if he had the Templars, then the Vipers get denied and the Protoss wins. Boom. Yeah. Like the Templars have to sit in the front of the army, and if there's Vipers, the Templars feedback. Nothing happens, and the timing of Leenock is basically a 3-base all-in designed to grab the Colossus, kill them, and end the game before Templars are out. And Parting had the Templar archives ready, he just couldn't warp in the Templars because he lost that Colossus.
Yeah. And he made the second Templar archives, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
Third game I thought was actually the most impressive by both players, to be honest. Like, the way that Lenok killed, like, he anticipated the build, really, because it's not only is it a big choke, so that build's kind of okay already, but the way that he's like, well, if he goes for just the Mothership Core, then my Lings actually do damage. Because if you do a normal gate expand, you might have a Zealot or a Stalker or something. But the Mothership Core being slower and all that, like, that was, like, smart moves by Lenok. And then, like, when Parting finally moved out, and Lenok made Spines and cancel a third, I'm like, I love people who are willing to cancel a base instead just sit there like, well, I'll just fight with less units and lose. But then when Parting like went back home and then came back with Blink, and I was over the moon about that game.
It was a brilliant game. That was a brilliant game by both. Like,
that was the smartest game I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, like you said, like Lenok, the temple like serves two purposes there. Either he's gonna get in if he goes for Trust Expand, or if he went for Mothership Core first, which he did in the previous game, he does some damage as well. So that was brilliant. That was a great decision. It was like, you know, probably 2 out of 3 times I'll get a small advantage. So great, good job. And then, yeah, the Parting poke, he cancels his third, had the Spines, and then the most brilliant move of all of them is Parting scouting the Spines. When you're a Cirque player, you make early Spines. The last thing you want to make for a while is units, right? So Parting is like, oh, you're going to make those Spines? You're probably not going to have any units. You know what? I'm going to warp a shitload of stuff and hit at the most awkward timing ever, and you're just going to die.
So awkward, yeah.
That was like, yeah, like, I was the same as you, like it was like, wait, is Parting attacking right now? Like, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden he starts warping in so much shit. And it's like, wow, that was weird. He also faked the third a little bit. Like, he moved this army to the third, denied a Ling there. I could have sworn he was going to take the third.
Oh, I thought he was too. I was like commenting as if he was going, and then he moved out, and I'm like, what's he doing? This is wait a minute. Oh. And that's why he's in the round of 16.
That was brilliant, yeah.
Yeah. Really insanely. Anyone who hasn't watched that group, Theognis, go ahead and watch that soon. It was like really good.
I'm
really
convinced, even though I'm not Zerga Protoss.
Those matches, Lenok Party and Life. The last, that's a problem for you though. The last was really not playing his best that day.
No, that wasn't really good. It looked like he wasn't playing well. It did.
Yeah,
it wasn't just like Life playing great. It was also like, last you're just a little bit off right now for some reason.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you boosted a little bit too fast, or like,
no, he did like
die.
He did a double Hellion drop. He did like just Reaper opening against Parting, kind of attacked into a Colossus Archon charge army at the wrong time, and like, it was very one-sided. Like, I was actually really sad because I like last play. It's fun to watch, but not.
He's really good. Night. He's really good. It was just not his day. So that was a little bit sad. But yeah, Lenok matches, Life matches, Parting matches. Also, the disconnect game, I thought that Lenok had a pretty good edge, and then Life just fucking was like, you know what? You're entering the mid game. This is me. This is all me. You know, it was fucking crazy. Like, the disconnect, they were both at 62 supply, if I'm not mistaken. Lenok's third was faster, and he had a 600 mineral bank where Life had none. So it was seemingly really even, but the bank makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it does.
There's a larva for it.
That's how Lenok won a lot in that first series, was just like, well, I have some more Lings, and now I have a quicker hatch, and now I have more gas, and now I have more mutas.
There is one last thing I want to point out about that, because a lot of people have a lot of questions on Muta versus Muta, and Lenok went for the +1 attack as opposed to the +1 carapace in the Daybreak game. Basically, the only reason for which you would do that is because you think you're a little bit ahead and you want to push that advantage as fast as possible. You have 50, like, one Muta costs 100 gas, 100 minerals. The Carapace upgrade is 50 gas and 50 minerals more expensive than the attack one. So that's half a Muta. If you think you have momentum going, in the early stages, Muta count is much more important than upgrades. Like, if you have one more Muta and the other person has one better upgrade, the one more Muta will win until there's a huge clump of Mutas, right? So I think that Lenok did really well in identifying that he had momentum going, and then he exploited the shit out of that. He never stopped moving with his Muta. He never stopped harassing with his Muta. He never stopped trading with his Muta. and he had more drones, so he just kept plotting links, and that's how he won the game.
Yeah, I felt that was the most impressive game for the ZVZs, and I feel like Life did something very similar on Whirlwind against him in the second series, where he actually was in the process of putting on pressure, and he skipped the carapace upgrade for just a little bit. He got an extra mute out, went over, did pressure, started it, and then during the time right before his armor finished, he floated back near his queens. And I was like, ooh, I'm watching the best players in the world. This is so sick.
Yeah, exactly. Like little decisions like that. To put it in perspective, because people don't understand how fucking stupid Muta versus Muta is. If you fight 24 Muta against 24 Muta, or 25 Muta, the person with the 25 Muta will have about 9 Mutas left by the end of the fight. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Like, the difference that one Muta makes is ridiculous. Just like if you have the 24 Muta against 24 Muta, one with the Carapace and one with the +1, there will be about 5 Mutas or 4 to 5 Mutas left for the person with the Carapace. So you can see that the difference is pretty large and in favor of having the extra 1 Muta, which costs the same as the attack upgrade and less than the Carapace upgrade. So if you have momentum going, you can either go for the attack upgrade like Linok did, or skip the upgrades or for a little bit like Life did, and kind of carry that momentum over.
I love it, man. That's so
I fucking
sexy.
hate it.
Oh no, it's like so complicated and beautiful. Like that's how you save Muta Warriors from being boring, is people doing little edges like that against each other.
Yeah. But it gets pretty stale pretty quick if like someone wins the third base war and cancels the other person's. Then the game is over. Straight up.
And then you just have to wait a couple minutes.
Yeah, it'll drag on for a few minutes, but
what do you guys think about that balance change that they are kind of like proposing that might happen?
Like, or something?
They're like buffing the spores, where it's like, or they might be. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but they're like buffing the spores against bio.
Can you link? What is this? What? They're buffing spores.
No one heard about it?
Oh,
they might.
I think they don't like the Muta Wars, I don't think. So they want to.
But they already buffed it against bio, didn't they?
Yeah.
I don't think they addressed the spores. They just said that Mutas are not.
I swear I saw it somewhere.
The Muta versus Muta is not a good idea. People are suggesting it in the thread. Let me see if I can find it. But yeah, they're basically Blizzard released notes on what they plan to, for future patches or whatever. They said that the Oracle might be buffed in terms of giving it a little bit more speed. If it's a little bit, I'm okay with it. If it's a little bit too much, it'll be impossible. Like, it will be fucking hard as fuck against like extremely good players.
Quicker oracles, man. That is actually crazy. Those things are so fast.
Yeah.
Imagine Bisu with that. That's gonna be like ridiculous now.
I can imagine, like, I mess up and I'm flying it through a cloud of hydras, and then I dodge all the spines in between and just keep going because the thing's so fast.
Yeah. That's actually kind of scary to go through with that. It's kind of weird that they're really forcing like the burrow costs. That's probably like the new bunker changes that they're planning on doing.
Jesus, wouldn't that be funny? You can
Burrow
cancel
costs.
burrow for 125% of the money back or something.
Yeah, they wanted to make burrow like quicker or getting it quicker or cheaper or something. But it's still it's burrow, man. It's like it's useful for banelings and for roaches, but at the same time, I don't know. I guess it could be helpful, but it's
block
it's not
expansion
that.
and stuff. Yes.
Yeah, blocking expansions would be cool.
I gotta mention this Oracle thing for 1 second. Because they say here, which makes a lot of sense, they're like, if they make it a bit faster, then the highest end players could perfectly use oracles without losing them, which makes sense, right? Like, okay, I get what they're saying. Could making the oracle faster make it harder for newbies to use it? Is this something that could actually occur? Like, if it's so fast that they're like, I can't control it, and it goes into a missile turn or something? No, right? Like, I'm making that up like that's a story in my head, right?
Well, wouldn't it be more like the noobs can't stop it because it's too fast? Like, how do we catch this thing? And then it just flies away and like, fuck.
I guess
and
so.
they lose all their workers.
Like the pros can stop it if it becomes too fast.
Huh.
I think with oracles you just kind of have to shift queue it in like hold position or something.
Yeah, something like that. Huh.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't find the notes, but there's.
Oh, I posted in chat.
I like the ideas though, like the Burrow is not really being used like they had.
I don't like that.
I breathed such a sigh of relief when they didn't mention any Terran units, though. I was so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really would be against the Burrow, the faster Burrow. If it's like faster research time and if it's cheaper, I'm sorry, but that would be broken. Like if I can deny the Terrans, like for example Terrans that go 1 gate expand, if I can deny the expansion until you can get an observer or a cannon there, no. Yeah, and then
I guess that would end that. That's true.
Yeah, the same goes for the third of Protoss and Terran. Like a scan is pretty expensive. Like in my personal opinion, Terran's like more powerful than Zerg. But if Blizzard actually thinks that it's balanced, and then you have to waste a scan for to take your third or just scans all over the place, then I think that would be too strong. Plus, I get Burrow anyways later on, so I don't know. I would love it if they did it, but I couldn't. I would feel guilty as fuck.
Yeah, I can never take my expansion against you anyways when you proxy like the hatch. Imagine that with like the burrowed ling. I'll be like, holy shit.
There's like creep and a creep tuber and a ling.
Yeah, if you make a command center like on the high ground, like to be safe against 6 pools, you'll just like proxy a hatch at your natural, get a queen, like poop out like creep tumors, and then you can like never land it. Like I have to get like a raven out or something. It's like kind of silly.
Wow.
Does Cats makes you go 1 base raven against him? Is this true?
No, command center first. Like he only does it against command center first.
Okay.
I don't even do that anymore. I only go Reaper against him. It's the safest thing.
That's probably the best. He likes to hide stuff. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, cool changes. I'll be excited to see if they actually do any of these. I mean, if they really do something to stop Mutazo, ZVZ is going to change like on a dime into something else, which would be kind of weird.
Hopefully, it doesn't go backwards.
Yeah, I don't want to watch Roach Infestor anymore. I wouldn't mind if if there was like some way that like Roach Hydra was okay, but Swarm Host counter that, but Muta counter that, and we had a little circle of kind of cool
counters.
It's a cool thing to aim for at least.
What I do like is that Davies reaching out to the community before, not like 2 days before. Hey guys, this is what we're gonna do, but kind of like, hey, this is kind of our idea right now, like where we're at, and we want some feedback. That's pretty fucking awesome. That's cool.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I don't know. One of the things I suggested, like for Muta versus Muta, is like kind of like they gave Hydras some sort of concussive shell attack, like even if it's just half against bio. That could be nice.
That's nice.
Like a half concussive shell from the Hydra attack against bio?
Yeah.
Roach Hydra would be so good at ZVT then. I'd be so scared.
So? Because
I couldn't run away then.
My zealots could never run away.
Do you ever run away? I mean, you usually look at an engagement, and if you take the engagement, you fucking take the engagement, right? Do you actually run away from Hydras usually?
Yeah, man, I boost away. I'm like, screw this.
Yeah,
okay, but you can boost away. Medivacs are not bio. Boost away, bro.
I don't know about that idea, Cats.
It's kind of cool.
That's a little bit crazy.
Says the other Zerg player. All right. Well, I think we did it, guys. I think that's a pretty good wrap.
Yeah.
Well, let's do some sponsorship shout-out type of stuff. Moonglade, why don't you take it away?
All right. Oh, shout out to my team NV, sponsored by the lovely Plantronics, Horizon, and Frag Labs. A big shout out to them, and yeah, thanks for having me on the show. It's been a pleasure.
And how about Theognis?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Also, thanks to Root Gaming sponsors, DOS Keyboard, Twitch, Aver Media, and our new sponsor, MyGamer.info. It's like these cool kind of business cards. Check out their website; it's pretty cool. And also, yeah, follow me on Twitter, Root Theognis. And I can't announce it now, but maybe in a few days. I actually have a personal sponsorship coming up, so I'll probably announce that.
Sick.
Probably like this weekend, so keep a lookout for that.
Cats.
Yeah, same shout outs as Theognis. Thank you so much, Das Keywords, and fucking Root Gaming. Visit us at root-gaming.com. My Twitter is @rootcats, and I'll probably stream in a little bit from now, maybe in a few minutes. So check that out. Twitch.tv/rootcats. And I think that's it. Thank you very much. I think this was a very successful first show, and I'm looking forward to the future of this show. Hopefully everyone is too.
Thanks. And for me, guys, thank you everyone for coming and watching. Of course, thank you so much to Theognis, Moonglade, and Cats for joining me on the first episode of Meta. A lot of people have been questioning about Save the Game and whatnot. I have disagreements with the way Save the Game is going, the direction it's going in. I kind of want to make my own show with more game talk, more pro gamers on it, going over this stuff, a little bit less of the news, a little bit less of the drama. There's a lot of that today, but overall trying to focus a little bit more on the game. And I don't know, I have fun talking about that. That's like literally what I want to talk about every day. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. This is going to be regular. People are still teasing me about 2 shows I had to stop because the people moved out of Korea. I don't know what to do. I live here. But now I have this nice internet show, and we have Simpatico. He is the best. He's made all the graphics and done all the production. He's going to continue to do that and get the VODs up and all that. So a big shout out to him. And I guess I'll post the VODs when they're up, and the MP3 download links, stuff like that. It is going to be weekly. So that's it for the first episode of Meta, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you later.